Namaste yogis, welcome to your practice. Today I'm going to guide you through a quick summertime vinyasa flow practice that's geared towards moving our bodies but also keeping the temperatures cool on the inside, especially when it's really hot outside. Great practice for when you don't have a ton of time. I have a great book that I use when I think about the seasons and I sequence classes for the seasons. It's called Yoga for Your Type, and I'll leave the details of that book in the notes. But when you think about seasons, especially like the extreme times of the seasons when it's like really, really, really hot or really, really, really cold, it's not a bad idea to adjust how we practice, the postures that we incorporate into our practice, and also our intention. So when the temperatures heat up, so does our pitta tendencies. And pitta is, there's a lot of fire, there's a lot of quickness, and there can be a lot of intensity. So sometimes you can get extra aggravated during the hot summer months, especially if you already have a lot of pitta in your dosha. So my intention with this class is to, in a short amount of time, give you a satisfying practice that makes you feel like you've done something. And we will get warm in the body, but I don't want to overheat you. And I actually want you to leave feeling calm and peaceful. So especially if you're feeling a little agitated, hopefully this practice will alleviate some of that. As far as props go, we're going to need quite a few props today. I'm going to recommend having a couple of blocks, 2 blankets, and a strap. If you'd like to use a bolster in the end for Shavasana to put under your knees, that's something nice to do to elevate the legs. You can also take your legs up the wall. And we will do a couple of handstands, which is optional. You can skip them, okay? So if you prefer to skip them, you won't need a wall space. If you like to use walls for handstands, then have a wall space cleared out and ready to go, okay? So let's begin. We're gonna actually start in child's pose. So have your block next to you. Actually have both your blocks near the front of your mat. And what I want us to do in this child's pose is to rest our forehead on the block. Okay, and I'm gonna put my blankets off to the side. So rest your forehead on the block. So the head and the hips are more in the same plane. And let's right away stretch the arms forward. So from here, there's different ways of doing child's pose. I want this one to be a little more active. So as you crawl the fingers forward, try to lift the forearm bones away from the floor and straighten your arms. And you might notice that the inner arms tend to kind of roll down towards the mat. So if you feel that, take your hands a little wider and then turn the inner arms up towards the ceiling. Yeah, and when you really do that, you'll notice how the shoulder blades are a little bit wider on the back. Yeah, and the outer arms, you want to hug them in. Yeah, so you really feel this kind of quality of toning to the arms. Good. And then your forehead, again, is resting on your block. Your hips are all the way back to the heels. The feet are pointed. Close your eyes and start to slow down your breath. Good. Just take a moment for yourself to notice how you're feeling. Good. And notice if you've been feeling a little bit agitated lately or a little short-tempered. If it's summer right now, you might notice that. I do. And I have to always check in. Yeah, and just ask myself, is this just the excess heat? Do I need to cool down? Where do I need to find balance? And that's really where the, Ayurvedic principles in our yoga practice can help us find this sense of balance. Cooling down when it's too hot or getting warm when it's too cold. So keeping your hands planted. On your next inhale, come into a tabletop position. Set your block near the front of your mat, and let's move into cat and cow. So inhale, look forward, lift your chin, lift your sitting bones. Now as you exhale, press the mat away and round your back towards the ceiling. Again, inhale, heart forward, shoulder blades slide down the back. And exhale, we round. One more time like that. Inhale. And exhale. Good, now find neutral. Move your knees back about a knee print. Good. Keeping your fingers spread, curl your toes, and come into your first downward facing dog. Take a few moments in this down dog to pedal out your knees. Give the head a nod if you'd like. Yeah, and just start slowly. So again, we're still checking in, noticing how the body is feeling, and some of these postures, how our body reacts. If you need to modify things at any point, please do. I'll give you options. And if you need to rest, please rest. Now see if you can get still for a moment in your down dog. Let your eyes settle. Yeah, really spreading the fingers, even spreading the toes, and reach the heels of your feet to the floor as you lift the hips up. Good. And just like we did in the child's pose, rotate the inner upper arms forward. Yeah, so you feel this kind of widening along the collarbone. Yeah, and the trapezius muscles start to release a bit away from the neck. You're just more plugged into the upper back. All right, let's keep the feet where they are. Walk your hands towards the back of your mat and find a forward fold. Now, when you're in this forward fold, put a little bend in the knees to start, just to make it a little softer. Good. Let your head relax here. And some of us like to take a hold of the elbows and just let the forearms hang. Yeah, so you feel some traction along the spine. You're more than welcome to rock from side to side a few times. Good. Try to keep your knees and toes pointing forward and really spread your toes. Yeah, so you start to wake up the soles of the feet. Good. Then we're going to do something else with the arms. Let's take the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, stretch your knuckles towards the ceiling, and then reach the arms away from you until you start to notice a stretch. If it's hard to hold the hands this way, grab your strap, hold your strap, and pull your strap apart. You might actually get more out of the pose. If you feel pretty good in the hamstrings, you can start to slowly straighten the knees, but try not to jam the knee joints back. So even me, I'm pretty bendy in the hamstrings. I try to keep the backs of the knees soft, and I work the quadricep muscles up. All right. Now stay in your forward fold. Just let your arms relax. Just let the arms drop to the floor. All right. Good. Now everybody bend your knees a little bit more. Good. And then bring your hands to your hips. And I'm going to ask you to roll up to standing nice and slow. So one vertebrae at a time. Good. And then once you're upright, make your way to the top of your mat and find mountain pose. So Tadasana. Try to press the shoulders back a bit. Inhale, reach the arms towards the ceiling. And look up if you'd like. Palms touch. Exhale, fold forward. Lower the hands to the mat. Uttanasana. Inhale, straighten your arms and look towards the front of the mat. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold again. Uttanasana. Inhale, let's stand up. So press down to rise and reach the arms up. Exhale, mountain pose. Arms by your sides. We're going to keep going. Inhale, lift the arms again. Feel free again to look up and press the palms. Exhale, hands to the floor and fold. Slow breath out. Inhale, straight elbows. Look forward. Good. Let's take a step back with the right foot. So find a nice long lunge. Yeah, and once your right foot is all the way back, bend your left knee deeply. Now take an extra breath in. So pin your left hip in. Yeah, and keep the left buttock heavy as you lift the root of the back thigh. All right, plant your hands. Inhale, step into plank. Now the first plank pose, let's hold it for a few extra breaths. You have the option of placing the knees on the floor if you need to. Otherwise, reach the heels of your feet back and try to look forward a bit and lift the top thighs up. Yeah, so the hips are the same height as the shoulders. Good, now stay here as you inhale. Knees can come down if they need to. Good, now slide forward, lower all the way to the floor through Chaturanga. Good, now point your feet. Interlace your hands behind your back. Switch the crossings of your fingers. Reach your knuckles towards your heels. Just lift your chest. So keep the feet heavy and pressing into the floor. Yeah, and try to get the pinky side of the feet to root down. The outer ankles hug in. Now can you lift the arms a little more? Stay here as you inhale. Now place your hands next to your ribs, setting up for cobra. Inhale, lift for cobra pose. Go ahead. Exhale, back down. Tuck your toes, breathe in. Plank position, breathe out. Hold the plank pose. Exhale, down dog. From your down dog, inhale, float your right leg. Exhale, place the foot in between the hands. And pause again. So lining everything up. Right knee stacks over the ankle. Right thigh bone pulls back into the hip socket. Look towards the front of your mat. Inhale, step forward and lengthen. Ardha Uttanasana. Now exhale, fold. Uttanasana. Inhale, let's stand up. Press down to rise and reach the arms. Exhale, mountain pose. Arms by your sides. Inhale, stretch the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, straight elbows, lengthen. Exhale, left foot steps back. Now this time, place your back knee on the floor. If you need to, pad the knee, point the back foot. On your breath in, take the arms up. Good. Just a few breaths here. Ground deeply into the front heel and pull the front thigh bone back. Yeah, and as you sink the hips forward, try to lift the front of the pelvis. Now stretch the arms up and back. If you can, look up. Big inhale. Lower your hands, exhale. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Inhale, find plank position. Pause and plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, place the foot in between the hands. Once it's underneath the knee, lower the back knee, point your back foot. So it's a nice, generous lunge. And then from there, slowly make your way up. And as you come up, stretch the arms. Try to straighten the arms. You can even hook your thumbs above your head if you'd like. Feel the back of your pelvis moving forward. So the hips descend, but at the same time, the frontal hip bones lift. Yeah, and the outer front hip, it steers back and in a little bit. Yeah, so you feel a deep stretch in the top of your back thigh. Now, if it feels okay, take the arms back a bit and look up. One more inhale. Exhale, touch the floor. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Inhale, step to the front of your mat and lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stand. Ground and reach up. Exhale, Tadasana. All right. Inhale, reach the arms up. Just one more sun salutation. Exhale, lower the hands and fold. Inhale, straighten the elbows. Either step to plank, or if you'd like to, jump to chaturanga. If you're in the plank, lower. Inhale into your cobra or your up dog. Exhale into the down dog. Good. Take a deep breath in and a nice deep breath out. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, step the foot through. Turn your back foot flat to the mat and pause. Now we're going to go straight into warrior two. So line up the heel of the front foot with the center arch of your back foot and angle your back foot forward. Have a block nearby. So have your block ready to go on the outside of your right leg. Good. Now let's take the arms out to the sides and come on up. Virabhadrasana 2. Now when you're in the warrior two, we're not going to be here long. Just take a few moments. See if you can let your front thigh move to the floor. Press your back thigh even straighter. And level your hips. So the torso feels tall, and then relax the shoulders. All right, now the right knee and toes continue to point forward. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Exhale, triangle pose. Lower your hand to a block. Now press the hand into the block and take your top arm up towards the ceiling. Now as you reach the top arm up, lean the top shoulder back. Keep pinning the right big toe into the floor. And rotate the right inner thigh forward so that front leg is rotating. It's a little bit of a hip opener. Now ground into the back outer foot. I want you to feel this back hip firm and keep moving the navel in as you lean the chest back. Now try to look up towards your top arm if you can and breathe. Okay, ground into your back foot. Inhale, we rise, standing up, arms wide. Now exhale, bend for warrior two. Sit a little lower, look towards your right fingers. Turn the palm of the right hand up. Inhale, lean back and reverse your warrior. Now exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Spin onto the ball of the back foot. Now make your way to plank position and pause. Now from plank pose, bring your legs together and we're going to take side plank with the right hand on the floor. Modify this by lowering the bottom knee or placing the top foot on the floor in front of the bottom leg. If you're taking the full side plank, try to flex your feet. Press down into the right hand to lift the right hip up. Good, now the top arm, rotate it so the palm faces forward and extend the arm towards the front of your space. Stay here as you inhale. Bring both hands to the mat, exhale. Hold, breathe in. Exhale, vinyasa or down dog. Inhale into the up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right to the second side. Inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, step it through. Turn the back foot flat. Line everything up for warrior two. So take a nice generous stance. Have your block ready to go. And then let's come on up. Open the arms to the sides and breathe. So ideally you want the crown of your head kind of lifting up, but at the same time the shoulders drop. Yeah, and the front leg is rotating. The back foot and leg, if you angle it forward a little bit, it definitely makes it easier for the front knee and foot to point forward. Good. Now draw the navel in and turn the belly a little to your right, just a little more, but look towards your left fingers. Now inhale, straighten your left knee. Exhale, Trikonasana, triangle pose. Left hand down, right arm up. Good, and then breathe for a few moments. So notice if your right ribs are kind of lifting up towards the ceiling. So I want you to lengthen your bottom waist more. So you can even bring your right hand to the right ribs and just kind of gently press them down to lengthen the bottom waist. Now keep plugging into the feet, the ball mount of the front foot, the outer edge of the back foot, and turn your ribs. Yeah. Notice if the bottom shoulder is creeping forward. So slide it away from the neck, lean your head back and look up. All right, press the back foot down. Inhale, let's come back up, open the arms, and then find warrior two again. Sit a little lower. Good, look towards your left fingers, spread your arms. Turn the palm of your left hand up. Inhale, lean back and side warrior. Exhale, bring both hands to the mat. Pivot onto the ball of your back foot. Make your way to plank pose. Pause. Let's bring the legs together. Side plank, left hand. Modify how you need to. Good. Notice if your top hip is leaning back. So see if you can really stack your hips. Yeah, and if your feet are stacked, flex those feet. So it's really just the knife edge side of the bottom foot on the floor. Good. Now keep the bottom shoulder down the back and then extend the top arm overhead. So it's a little side bend. Look up if you'd like. Big inhale. Hands to the floor. Exhale. Pause as you inhale. Exhale. Chaturanga. Inhale. Up dog or cobra. Exhale. Downward dog. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, place the foot between the hands. Now, grab your blocks. Place your blocks on the mat on either side of your front foot. And let's step the back foot forward for pyramid pose. So line up the heels. Maybe go a little bit wider if you need. And let your back foot turn out to the side at a little bit of a diagonal. So pointing that back foot to 10 o'clock. Now pin your right hip in and press the right big toe mound into the floor. Straighten your arms and look forward. Now walk your blocks in front of your foot. So reach as much as you can and see if you can fold a little deeper. Good. Now as you extend the arms forward, I want you to think downward dog. So stretch those arms. Try to press the hands into the block. So it's really helpful to have something to really press down into. And lift the forearms at the same time. Now, turn the inner shoulders towards the ceiling. Yes, turn the outer arms down towards the mat. Yeah, and see if you can lengthen the front of the torso. Yeah, So moving your navel back. Stay here as you inhale. And exhale. All right, place your hands on either side of the front foot. Use your blocks here. Now inhale, straighten your arms. Now we are going to cut into a twist. Keep your left hand down, right hand to hip, turn your ribs to the right. Now start by going for the big movement. Go ahead and take the top arm up. Yeah, and see how the lower half of the body reacts to the twist. So a lot of us, I could imagine that back heel is lifting and you're starting to feel a little bit unstable. So ground into the back heel more and press the top of your back thigh back as you reach the chest forward. Now that right hip, keep pinning it in, and then see if you can move your torso a little more towards the midline of your body, and then from there turn the ribs. Good, option to take the eyes up towards the top arm. Stay here as you inhale. Now exhale, bring your hands down and fold. Let your head relax, take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Good, put a bend in your front knee, hop your left foot back, move your blocks out of the way if you'd like. Inhale, find plank. Take a breath in plank for just to reset. Optional chaturanga, you can always skip it. Inhale, up dog cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, float your left leg. Exhale, step it forward. Grab your blocks again. Hop your back foot in a little and straighten your knees. And again, lining everything up. So the distance between your feet depends on two things: the length of your legs and the flexibility in the hamstrings. If your hamstrings are tighter, shorten your stance. If your hips are a little tight, take your feet a little wider left to right. Now straighten your arms, look forward, walk your blocks forward. And remember, the back foot, angle it to the right a bit. It makes it a lot easier to ground into the outer foot and really dig the heel to the floor. Yeah, and notice if you're shifting your weight towards the outer edge of the front foot. This happens. So press the inner foot down more, especially the big toe mound, and then slide the outer hip back. Yeah, so you want to feel the outer hip really firming, compact. Stretch the arms a little further. Try to keep those arms straight. So the arms are active. We're going to do handstand in a little bit. So I want to work those arms a little more. Press the palms of the hands down. Try to get the armpit chest to lift as the upper back moves in. Stay here as you inhale. And exhale. All right, bring your blocks back towards your front foot. On your next inhale, straighten your arms. Good. Now lift the pit of the belly as you lengthen the torso. And let's bring the left hand to the hip. Good. Now start to turn your ribs. Yeah, and you're welcome to place your hand outside of the foot. It's up to you. Good. Now take your top arm up and go ahead and twist as much as you can. Yeah, let the legs do whatever they do here. It's just interesting to notice. Good. Now once we find that big pose, then we want to create a little resistance so that we feel stable. So the back thigh actually moves back more. The back heel grounds and that left hip pins in. Now think of your right shoulder blade moving into the back. Yeah, and that bottom shoulder away from the neck. Now lean the head back, and if you can, try to look up. Almost there. Stay here as you inhale. All right, bring both hands to the blocks and just fold for a moment. Just let your head relax. Nice and easy breath in and out. Good. Move your blocks out of the way. Bend your front knee and hop your right foot back. Place your hands on the floor. Plank pose, breathe in. You decide chaturanga. Exhale. Inhale, up dog cobra. Exhale, down dog. All right. When you're in your down dog, take a big inhale through the nose. Open your mouth and let it go. Now inhale, lift your heels. Look at your hands, bend your knees, and jump to the front of the mat. Straighten your elbows and lengthen. Now exhale, fold. Inhale, let's stand up nice and slow. Stretch the arms up. All right, let your arms relax. Okay, roll the shoulders out a little bit. All right, let's grab our straps. Okay, so we're going to take Padangusthasana, and we're going to do all the variations. So we're going to take the leg forward, out to the side, and then we're going to twist. Okay, So use a strap if you use it. My strap is looped. Yours does not have to be. If you feel a little kind of iffy with balancing, move towards a wall. You could also do this whole thing with the knee bent, okay? If you don't have a strap, you can always use a scarf or something like that, okay? Just playing a little bit with balance. Now, start with your feet on the floor, and let's loop the right strap first. And just stand tall for a moment. Yeah, for some reason, my students tend to be in a big hurry to take the leg forward. I say, don't be in a hurry. It's not the easiest pose to do. So just ground for a moment into your legs. Stand nice and tall. Try to find a focal point to keep your eyes. You're going to keep your left foot on the mat. Bring your right knee into your chest. Reach down with your right hand, grab your strap, hold your knee, or if you're using your hand and big toe, do that. Now start with your left hand on your left hip, and then take the right leg forward. Okay, and then just breathe for a moment. Slide the right outer hip to the floor, and press the root of your left thigh back. Good. Now from there, let's rotate the right knee and toes to the right, and take the right leg out and up. Good. Now as you take the right leg out, continue to slide the right buttocks under, and your left hip firm it in. Stretch your left arm to the left, and feel free to turn your eyes to the left if it's not too much. All right, just one more inhale. Now take your right leg forward. Reach your left arm up for a moment. Get tall. Now reach forward with your left hand. Grab your strap, your knee, or your foot. Take the right arm back and begin to turn the ribs to the right. I love this feeling of this pose. Slide the right outer hip to the floor. Press your standing leg even straighter and lift the torso up. All right, stay here as you inhale. Now look forward. Let go of your foot, okay? But keep the leg in the air. See if you can reach both arms up. Big inhale. All right, feet down, arms down. Now just take a moment with both feet on the floor. Resist the urge to just like, let go of the drama for a moment and just take deep breaths. Staying calm, slow, smooth Ujjayi breath. Okay, we're going to do the second side, okay? I'm going to kind of turn a different way so you can see a slightly different perspective. If you're looking, although I imagine you're probably not looking at the monitor, you're looking somewhere that's not moving. All right, now find your focal point with your eyes, ground into your feet, and this time your left foot is strapped. Good, now from there, start to lift your left knee. Good, now don't forget your breathing here. So a lot of times when we're doing something more challenging, we tend to hold the breath. So see if you can find a slower, smoother breath. Good, now holding onto the knee, the strap, or the foot, begin to reach your left leg. Now as you reach your left leg, let your left thigh bone move to the floor. So the thigh bone, it actually descends. And the root of your standing leg moves back as the front of the pelvis lifts. Now rotate your left knee and toes to your left, and then take your left leg out and up a little bit. Yeah, and then just notice the cause. Do you start to lean to the outer right foot? Squeeze the right hip in. Yeah, and continue to rotate your left thigh. Right arm can reach to the right. Some of us look to the right. Stay here as you inhale. All right, now take your left leg forward. Reach the right arm up first. Now grab your strap, your foot, your knee. Reach your left arm back and begin to twist. Take it slow. Laugh at yourself if you fall. You definitely want to find more of a joyful feeling in these summertime classes. Yeah, keep sliding the left outer hip down. Turn from deep in the belly. One more inhale. Good, now slowly look forward. Left arm up, let go of your foot. Right arm up. Deep breath in. All right, feet down. Arms down. Okay, deep inhale through the nose. Out your mouth, exhale. All right. Slide your strap off your foot. We're going to move to the wall and do 3 handstands, okay? 1 to 3. Here's the option if you're not taking handstand. You're going to take a wide-legged stance. Your feet are parallel. And you're going to have your hands on your hips. you'll fold into Prasarita Padottanasana A. If you can get the head to the floor, fantastic. If not, grab a block and place your head on the block, okay? And you'll be there for about a minute to a minute and a half, okay? If you're using handstands, you have a couple of options. You can do the wall shape L, where you place your feet, I'm just moving all my props, at the wall or bookshelf or whatever you have. And then your hands are under the shoulders. You pick up your knees, kind of bring your hips back to the wall, and then one foot at a time, you walk your feet up. And you see my legs are more parallel to the mat. My hips are stacked over the shoulders. So that's your choice. Hold as much as you can. When you rest, try to keep your head below your heart and come into a forward fold, all right? If you're taking the handstands, you know what you're doing. Start to make your way into it. Hands by the wall, fingers spread. I like to come into down dog for a moment just to ground. And then I walk my feet towards the hands, shoulders over the wrists. Look forward, kick up. Go for it. So you ready? Start to make your way into your inversion practice. Yeah, the first handstand, if you're doing the full thing and you're using a wall, see if you can hang for a little bit, even letting the head drop so you're looking forward versus down. Yeah, and lean a little bit more towards the fingertips here. It actually helps with balance. Okay. Take little breaks. Let your arms relax. Slow breath in and out. Okay. All right. Round two. Yeah, and feel free to play now. So if you want to work on balancing, kind of change up how you're kicking up. Ooh. That's it. Good. Breathe. Oh. Take rest when you need to take rest. And then try one more. Okay, so one last one. If you're kind of taking more time and you want to play with more inversions, feel free to stop the video and do your thing, okay? But otherwise, I want to keep this class pretty short, for those of us that need, to get onto our day. When you're done, take a forward fold and place your hands under the feet. If you're still in the wide-legged fold, just stay there for a few more breaths. That's it. See if you can find the balance in your breath. Okay. All right. Good. Now, if you're in Padahastasana or that Prasarita Padottanasana A, the wide fold. Good. Prasarita Padottanasana, people, bring your hands to the floor, straighten your arms, hands to the hips, and then come up. If you're in the forward fold with the hands into the feet, bring your hands to the hips, and slowly come up. Okay? Come back to the top of your mat, and make your way into mountain pose again. And just take a moment to observe the effects of the postures we've done. So the inversions, the standing poses, a little bit of balance. A lot of things done in a short amount of time. All right, just one more thing here. Inhale, reach both arms up. Nice big breath. Exhale, hands down, fold. Inhale, straight arms, lengthen. Just step to plank. Pause and plank. Plank is a really great pose to kind of ground and connect to your center line or your plumb line. So the more you use the legs and the core, the easier it is on the hands and the wrist. Stay here as you inhale. Now slide forward, lower to your belly. Once on your bellies, point your feet. Reach your left arm to your left. So the palm of the hand faces the floor. And let's take a shoulder stretch. So roll to your left side. And you can gently place your right foot on the floor if you'd like I'm doing here. Yeah, and we're not going to be here long. Just a moment to release the shoulders, from all the, the vinyasas and the inversions. Yeah, and even sometimes when you're working really hard, we tend to hold our poses with our shoulders. I'm still working on that myself. Okay. Come onto your belly, switch sides. So take your right arm to the right, Roll over to the right, and you'll do the same thing. Good, a few more deep breaths. Okay. Okay, come onto your bellies. Now we're going to take a traditional locust pose. So stretch your legs back. Take your arms either by your sides or once again interlace the fingers. Now this time we'll lift the chest and we'll lift the legs. So Shavasana. Yeah, and take some breaths here. And when you're doing this pose, try to keep your legs straight. Yeah, so for me, I don't have a whole lot of height, but I'm feeling a lot of energy in the backside of the body. Keep working the outer ankles in. Keep the back of the neck long. So even though you can lift your head a little bit, try not to lift your chin so much. Yeah, think about the heart, the sternum moving forward. All right, just one more breath. Now plant your feet. Place your hands in cobra position. So the hands are under the elbows. Now press the hands down and inhale, come into upward facing dog. Breathe for a moment. Good. See if you can lift your shin bones up. Try to pull your shoulders back so the collarbone is wide. One more inhale. Exhale, down dog. Okay. Take a deep breath in and a nice long breath out. All right. Bring your knees to the floor. Sit. Bring your feet to one side. Have a seat. All right. Good. Now straighten your legs in front of you. Flex your feet. Good. And just find staff pose. If any of these poses require that you sit on a blanket, then I want you to grab your blanket and sit on it. Generally, you can tell if you feel like you're kind of slouching towards the backs of the sitting bones. If you feel like you're centered right in the center, you're okay. Keep your right leg straight. Fold your left foot in, or left knee in, so the foot's on the inside of the thigh. Janu Shavasana. Turn your belly towards the right knee. Now reach your arms up. And then as you exhale, fold. So a couple of choices. If it's hard to grab your foot, use your strap and lengthen your torso and twist. If it's not so hard to grab the foot, grab the pinky side of the foot and pull it back. Yeah, and some of us like to even grab the wrist. So if you can really reach your arm beyond the foot, reach your right arm further and then hook your wrist with your left hand. So the hand is around the ball of the foot. Yeah, and then continue to slide the pinky foot back as you turn the ribs. Yeah, take some breaths. Okay, we're starting to cool down now. We are going to do a shoulder stand in a moment, and then we'll finish up. Yeah, notice how you feel right now. It's always interesting to notice after the stronger poses and the flows, hopefully we feel energized and calm at the same time. Okay, now look forward as you inhale. Now slowly release. Okay, now we're going to keep the legs in this general shape, but what I want you to do is your left knee, I want you to open it to the side a bit. So now I'm facing kind of more in between my thighs and my legs are opening. Now we're going to take a more of a side bend. So you can have your hand or forearm on a block. You can keep your hand on the floor or maybe lower your elbow. Turn your ribs to your left. Take your left arm up and then extend it overhead. Now don't worry about grabbing the foot, okay? You can just kind of reach. If you can grab the foot, try to grab the pinky side of the foot and then turn your ribs up. Yeah, and if you can grab your right heel with your right hand, try doing that. Now anchor your left sitting bone. Yeah, and continue to take some deep breaths. And so side bends are a great way to energize the body without overheating the body, because sometimes a lot of back bends can be overstimulating when you're already overstimulated due to just summer and sunshine and all the other effects of that heat. And so I like doing back bends all year, but I changed the way I practice. Okay. All right, now come on up when you're ready. Oh, take a big breath in and exhale. All right, now face forward. Take your legs in front of you. Find staff pose again. We're going to switch sides. So let's start first pulling the right heel in. And I want you to face your left leg. So turn the belly to your left. Now try to reach both arms up. And again, use a blanket if you need to. Sit on it. And then exhale, reach. Strap, grabbing foot, or once again, reach your left arm further and grab your wrist with your right hand. Now we're folding over your left leg. And just like any forward bend, you want to find some length through the front of the torso. And that's how you really start to stretch the hamstrings out more. You're not just kind of tucking and rounding the back and not really feeling the hamstrings at all. Take a few more breaths here. Okay. Now look forward as you inhale, and then slowly come up. Okay. Open your right knee to the right. Yeah. So I'm turning away from you. It's nice to see different angles. And then from here, same thing. So left hand or forearm on the block, or left hand or forearm on the floor. Now, we don't want to turn towards the floor so much. I'm going to take the right shoulder back. Yeah, so it's a true side bend. And then stretch the right arm up and reach it overhead. Good. If it's easy for you to find the foot, you can grab the pinky side or kind of around the toes and maybe grab your left heel with your left hand. And continue to breathe. A few more moments. Press the right sitting bone down. Yeah, and I'd like to start to focus on just slower breaths here, longer exhales even. Okay. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Okay, good. Now from here, come on up, nice and slow. All right, now look forward, straighten your knees again, find staff pose. Good. Now, place your hands on the floor first. Look straight ahead, so grow your spine. Now reach both arms up, and then exhale, fold. Good. I'm going to grab my block. I like using a block for Paschimottanasana because it makes me work my feet. So I kind of place the block in front of the balls of the feet and pull the block back as you press the big toes forward. You can use a strap. You can grab the pinky sides of the feet. But what I want you to try to avoid is this kind of rounding thing. So bend your knees or sit on a blanket so that you can actually tap into the hamstrings more. Okay, now if you let your head relax, continue to reach the top of the head forward. Yeah, move the shoulders away from the neck. 2 more slow breaths, in and out through the nose. Okay. All right. Good, now lift your head, look towards your feet, and then come on up. Okay, move your block out of the way. All right, we're gonna take a quick bridge pose. Okay, so what I want us to do is I actually want us to use our blanket. If you have a blanket, see how I have this blanket? I'm folding it in half, so it's kind of like a stick of gum, okay? And then I'm gonna place the blanket behind me so that the fringe side of the blanket is facing me and the smooth side is not. If you don't have a blanket, don't worry about it. Whatever you're using is fine. Let me move all my other stuff out of the way. And then you're going to lie down on your back, but you're going to rest your shoulders on your blanket and the back of your head on the floor. Okay, and just take a moment on your back. Place your feet on the floor. Good. Now, with your feet on the floor, feel that you can touch your heels and your feet are parallel. Good. Now start to lift your hips up. And as you lift your hips up, snuggle the arms under you and try to interlace your fingers. You know, the other option is to grab the edges of your mat and pull your mat apart. Now the blanket under the shoulders should help you feel a little more lift behind the neck. Yeah, and this is what we're looking for in shoulder stand. So we don't want to have the upper neck and upper back really just kind of grinding into the floor. You want to be more on the shoulders. That's why they call it shoulder stand. Good, now lift the back of the pelvis. Ground into the inner feet and lengthen the tailbone a bit. Good. Move your shin bones back. All right. Really nice. Stay here as you inhale. Now release. Yeah, and just pause for a moment. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Okay. Shoulder stand. Okay, we're going to finish with shoulder stand, and then we're going to go into Shavasana shortly after that. So if you're not practicing shoulder stand, you have some options, okay? You can bring your legs to a wall and take the legs straight up for Viparita Karani. You can also do the Viparita Karani with a block or whatever you're using as blocks. You simply lift your hips up, slide your block under your tailbone, sacrum, yeah, whatever height you prefer, and then you'll lift the feet and take the legs up. Yeah, this is a nice alternative, especially if you have neck and shoulder stuff, okay? I used to avoid shoulder stand for a really long time, and I'm not really sure why. I kind of can't remember at the moment. I just felt like I couldn't breathe. It just felt really constricting, and it kind of bothered my neck. And it wasn't until I did my teacher trainings I learned about this blanket setup, and that kind of changed my relationship to the pose. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking my 2 blankets and I'm stacking them neatly. And again, there's a smooth side. If you have these kinds of blankets, there's a smooth side and a fringe side. So the fringe side is facing you. The smooth side is where the shoulders and the head go. Now, I like to fold up my mat. You can fold it up from the front of the mat back. I don't mind having my head on the floor, so I'm going to do it this way. And then I'm going to lie down with my shoulders on the blanket. You want to make sure there's about a 2-inch distance between the top of your shoulder and the edge. So when you do come into plow pose, we tend to shift back a little bit. You don't want the shoulders coming off the blanket. The shoulders stay elevated. Okay, that's the key. Now once you set this up, and you can go ahead and start on your own if you know what you're doing, you're going to prepare like you're coming into bridge pose, but instead you're going to swing your legs overhead and find plow. Okay, now if you can't get your feet to the floor, grab a chair, use an ottoman or something that you have so that your feet can land on something. Now from here, start with your hands on your back and just kind of feel where that is. Most of it is on the lower back. You want to start to walk your hands up your back, up, towards the shoulder blades. And it's a process. You got to just kind of keep working it and working it. Now your fingers point towards the ceiling. Once you feel steady, then you'll take your legs straight up. Good. Now ideally the legs are vertical, so they're perpendicular to the floor. Yeah, and once you're up here, you don't want to turn your head, so you're looking straight up. Find your way into shoulder stand when you're ready, and take some breaths. Good. Just see how this feels. If you need to come out early, I suggest coming out and staying out, and just lying on your back in the supported fish pose with the blankets. Good. Let's see if you can walk your hands up a little more. Yeah, and if your legs are already up, I want you to flex your feet. Separate your legs a little, and lengthen the buttocks up, the heels of the feet up, and roll your inner thighs back. Yeah, so the legs are neutral. Now without losing that, bring your legs together and try pointing your feet. Yeah, and see if you can lift up a little more. We're about halfway there. We're not doing a super long hold today. Yeah, just enough to feel the benefits. Yeah, this is the pose that we're holding probably the longest of the whole class. Good. Take some breaths. Yeah. Shoulder stand has a great way of calming the nervous system. But while you're in it, it could be intense. Yeah, the more you practice it, the more you get used to it. Okay. So you can take 5 more slow breaths here. Okay. When you're ready to come down slow. So take your feet over your head into plow. If you're on your blocks or with the legs up, you're more than welcome to stay for a few more moments. Okay. Now once your feet are back to plow, interlace your hands and just take a few moments. That's it. Okay. Now, I like this version. Feel free to do the same, where you bend your knees around your ears. It's almost like you're trying to get your shin bones to the floor, and then you reach and grab the backs of your feet. If this is too much on your neck, skip it and start to come down. Okay. Now when you're ready to come down, lower your arms to your sides and real slow, like one vertebrae at a time. Oh, come on down. Okay. Now one nice advantage of using blankets is you get to take supported fish pose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crawl headwards until my shoulders touch the floor. And then I can just kind of let the elbows bend to the sides. A real nice, sweet release after the shoulder stand. If your legs are at the wall, you can take Shavasana like that. It's really up to you. If you're on your blocks, I'm going to recommend, if you haven't already, bend your knees, place your feet on the floor, lift your hips up, move the block, and then once you lower down, take a happy baby. If you prefer full fish pose, you're more than happy to do that. Okay, good. Now place your feet on the mat. Roll to your side. If you have a blanket, you'll come up, okay, and you'll move your blankets out of the way. Okay, now, after I do shoulder stand, I usually use a blanket to support the back of my head. So I'm going to grab one of my blankets and make that stick of gum pose, or a stick of gum fold, and place it behind me. And then I'm going to grab my bolster, right, and I'm going to slide my bolster under my knees. And then once you lie down, your knees are a little elevated, and the back of your head is on your blanket. Yeah, this is like a super sweet way of taking Shavasana. Now you might notice, sometimes when I practice this way, I notice at the end of the class, in the summer, the idea is to cool us down. I actually feel a little cool. So I'm going to open my other blanket and make a pillow, or a blanket. I just use it as an actual blanket, cover my body. Now, I don't have my pillow for my eyes, but if you have something to cover the eyes, especially during this time of year, I highly recommend it. Relax your arms, relax your legs, relax your face. Take one final breath in through the nose. Now open your mouth and exhale. Okay. Let's make our way into Shavasana. you have more time, stay here as long as you'd like. Start to deepen your breath if you're ready to start to come back. Let your fingers move a little bit, your toes. And rest one of your hands over your belly and one hand over your heart. And just pause here for a few breaths. All right, now gently bring your knees into your chest. Squeeze it in, little rock from side to side. And then let's roll to the side and find a fetal position. Go slow. And then let's slowly make our way into a comfortable seat. So find a seat that works for you. And prop your hips if you'd like. Cross your legs. Sit nice and tall. Move the shoulders back and down. Lift up through the top of the head. Close the eyes. Just taking a final moment to observe how you feel and honor the space you've created here today. As you move about the rest of your day, be mindful of where you focus your energy. You know, it's very easy during the summer to, focus on the things that are a little more intense. We even tend to eat foods that have a little more fire in them. Stay cool, body and mind. Yeah, and make sure you find plenty of time to rest, to be playful, to be joyful. And when you're ready to, start to blink your eyes open. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed today's class and hope you feel really good and strong and calm. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm loving the requests. Keep them coming. And I hope to see you again soon. Go in peace. Namaste.